Would you like to invest in a monopoly? Yeah, me too. How about 3 of them? That's what we have for you today. 3 pharma and biotech monopolies, and I've got 2 of the most brilliant guys on the planet to talk about them. My co-host John Engel and our guest, my old friend Dave Lashmet. So let's not delay. Get out your pens and pencils. You're going to write some ticker symbols down. We've got 10-to-1 upside potential here for you, okay? So let's do it. Let's talk with Dave Lashmet. Let's do it right now. Dave, welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Same here, Dan.
And John, welcome as well. John and I are going to do our best to get all the good info out of you that we can today. I noticed that before we get going, though, I noticed something here. We're going to talk about GLP-1 drugs and weight loss. You've been covering this longer than anyone I personally know. You've been doing it, 6 years? And the first time I really started taking it seriously was like 3 years ago. I had an analyst that I interviewed at the Stansberry conference in Las Vegas, and he was like, this thing is going to be so huge. But you were already onto it 3 years prior to that. And I'm curious, what happened in, 2019 maybe?
While walking to go meet this guy, I passed about 700 doctors in line to go to a lunch session sponsored by Novo Nordisk for their Ozempic drug. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but 700 doctors are voting with their feet to find out about this one thing, and they're not all going to get in the room, and they're not all going to get free lunch. There's literally like a river of humans trying to go into the session. So it turned out that Ozempic, if you use it at double strength, triggers massive weight loss. And this was a cardiology conference years before, at a cardiology conference in the US called the American Heart Association meetings.
Mm-hmm.
A doctor told a joke, which was, look, this drug is the best we can do unless we can get people to lose weight. And everybody laughed. Like, there's literally no way to get heart patients to lose weight. And this was the breakthrough. So we saw it in August 2019. We started covering it in November 2019. As soon as the trial data had come out, we were already tracking it. So we were at ground zero. We knew that the existing drug at double strength would trigger massive weight loss.
And here we are 6 years later, and these are practically the only drugs anybody wants to talk about. Like, it's like there are no other drugs now. All right, so I want to get into this. You've got 3 drugs to talk about today, starting with weight loss drug, and you maintain that you have actually not just 3 drugs, but 3 monopolies, 3 honest to goodness, monopolies, which is really rare in the world. Let's dive in. Let's start with the first one, which is a weight loss drug. Lilly's weight loss pill. What's the big deal? How is this a monopoly?
What's confusing to investors, and it's because their marketing departments want you to think so, every drug is a monopoly because every drug has a patent, which gives it economic exclusivity. But if I build a statin drug and you build a statin drug and John builds a statin drug, we're all going to go after the same patients. So even though we have a legal monopoly, we don't have an economic monopoly because we will set prices against each other. It's not what the market will bear.
Right.
It's how low can you go? You will cut price to gain market share. John will cut price against you to gain market share. Then I will cut price against John to gain market share or maintain it. We end up with some sort of equilibrium where none of us make money, or we make trace amounts of money.
Right.
Nowhere near what you make in monopolies. And the easiest proof of that, easiest proof of that is that if a drug has a direct competitor, its price goes up 3% a year. If a drug does not have a direct competitor, its price goes up 9% a year. Why? Because it can.
Yeah. Right.
So essentially you get pricing control. And not only the initial price, but as you ramp year after year after year. Like no one who takes a drug is gonna not take the drug for you know, basically a 8 or 9% increase. They're still gonna take the drug, they're just gonna eat it and call it inflation. But
Right.
drug inflation runs about 5%, but it's more than double that for drugs that have a monopoly. What makes weight loss different
Okay.
is that it's just so huge.
So to speak. Um,
I know, right? So there's easily 100 million American adults who are obese.
wow.
I know. Dan,
It's
you're the exception.
yeah. I
You're
want to
thin as a
say.
rail.
I was going to say that's massive. Again, the puns are just are going to come hot and heavy here. Again, they're hot and heavy. Okay, I can't stop myself. You can't avoid the puns. But 100 million blows me away. I did not know that.
Yeah, there's some effort to sort of redefine the US so numbers can be higher, but the
Mhm.
2023, 2024 numbers of 100 million seem fair and conservative compared to where else we can go. See, like if you have a BMI of 29.5, then you don't have a BMI of 30, but it could already screw up your blood work.
Mm.
You'll get metabolic syndrome, so your body is acting as if you're obese, even though technically by skin surface area to height, you might not have hit a threshold. Your blood already hit that threshold. So conservatively, it's 100 million Americans for the market. There's probably 150 million Europeans
Mhm.
who are also obese. So it's a quarter of a billion people who face critical health challenges from excess weight.
Right, a quarter of a billion
That's
people in
huge, and I
developed countries.
Quarter of a billion people.
Yeah, with huge amounts of money to
and
spend.
and I don't think that market is fully tapped yet, right, Dave? We've still got a lot of growth to come, mostly because for some of these drugs, they're not covered under Medicare, correct? Unless they're approved, unless they're taking it for a different reason, not specifically for weight loss.
Yeah, it's a push me pull you. There was a change in Medicare like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
In general, everybody's resistant to paying that price.
Yeah.
So when it was in shortage, Medicare wasn't picking it up. I think that Medicare will pick it up for certain conditions. But if you're morbidly obese,
Mhm.
above
It's
a
covered.
BMI of 40, you're going to have so many health conditions you're going to qualify.
Right.
So that's like someone who's 5 feet tall and 290. That's
Yeah.
heavy. When you should be a buck 50 and you're at 290,
Right.
you may be overweight.
You might just be. So, but I could imagine. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if you're like you say, if it's 40 is the cutoff, let's just say, and you're at 38 or 37.
The cutoff's more like 30
Oh, the cutoff's
and
really
maybe
30.
35.
Okay.
Yeah. 30 would be overweight and 35 would be obese and
Okay.
40 would be morbidly obese.
All right. So, but I'm thinking about, the cutoff for like Medicare coverage, like when you have some, conditions that are obviously caused by your weight, but which are severe and can be treated by, losing weight. So therefore,
So I mean the answer that's right in front of us that we're not talking about is type 2 diabetes.
ah,
So type 2 diabetes grows hand in hand with the American and European obesity epidemics when you have such a massive amount of excess fat tissue, you feed it. And as you feed it, you only have one pancreas and you have just way too much circulating sugar for the amount of insulin that you can create in your pancreas. And so you get into sugar abnormalities in your blood. And that triggers a disease called type 2 diabetes mellitus. And these drugs started as type 2 diabetes drugs, but it turned out that they also triggered massive weight loss. So, as a type 2 diabetic, you can get on these drugs and get them
mhm,
covered.
In addition to now what sleep apnea and There's another one that was approved recently, right?
I
Cardiovascular
mean, we
disease.
know that weighing 290 when you should weigh 150 is kind of hard on your knees.
Yeah.
So there's been some pretty good studies on knee osteoarthritis. So fat tissue is inherently inflammatory,
Hmm.
and so it can reduce the inflammation by reducing the fat beds. Plus, guess what? Every step does not mean 290 pounds into your knee. So it will soon win approval for osteoarthritis if it
Hmm.
hasn't yet.
All right.
But
I
we
think
know
that's
that
important.
overall,
Yeah.
overall, the health benefits to your heart are also significant. So I think it's won approval for cardiovascular benefit. It's about 20%. 20% reduction in heart attacks or strokes in a year if you're on these drugs.
I think that's important because that expands the market potential for that drug. Whereas most people think of it as just an obesity drug, it's not. It has benefits in other areas as well. All these diseases are commingled. They're related, right?
Yeah, and I mean, in Europe and in Japan and every other developed country, including Canada, except the United States, they own a patient from cradle to grave because there's only one healthcare provider. Okay. So they already recognize obesity as a condition that deserves treatment. In the US, it's more like an auto repair shop. If you're not broke, we're not going to fix you. So
Mm.
you have to think of some way that someone's broken in order to go intervene to fix them. It's not preventative medicine, it's therapeutic medicine. So everywhere else, they already recognize obesity as a treatable condition that has long-term health consequences, and they just treat it
Yeah.
because it's better to treat it early. In the
Hmm.
US, people tend to stay, even on their work healthcare plans, for about 4 years. So each medical insurance company can kick it down the road and make some other medical insurance company cover these patients for when they're really sick.
All right. So I'm sold. I'm sold on weight loss drugs. But what you're telling me is that Lilly has an effective monopoly, like a real economic monopoly on the weight loss pill. And of course, right away, my first thought as an investor is, are you telling me nobody else is working on a pill form of this?
The current drugs all are proteins and they all fit a pocket in your GLP-1 receptor to look like natural GLP-1. And that's how they work. They regulate your blood sugar. It turns out that there's also GLP-1 receptors in your brain. I call it the winter switch.
Mm.
So in winter, you have to burn fat to stay warm in the northern hemisphere, or in the southern hemisphere in the winter. You have to burn fat to stay warm. And that switch, we used to think it was a side effect, but when you're on these GLP drugs, your resting heart rate goes up by 5 beats per minute. And it means you're literally running hotter. And it also is an appetite suppressant in your brain. So between appetite suppression and running hotter, that's why you lose weight. The problem comes because all these injectable drugs, all these GLP-1 proteins, people only stay on them for about a year.
Mm.
And when you get off them, you do not have a higher metabolism, and your appetite, which was always there, is there again.
Hmm.
So, one big breakthrough that Lilly has done with its new pill is pick up patients after they stop the injectable drugs as a maintenance regimen, so that it's a once a day pill you can take whether or not you've had anything to eat, and you will essentially continue to lose weight or at
Hmm.
least maintain. So the 6 month study that they just did was gain back 2 pounds after you lost 32 pounds, but it's stable. It's basically a stabilizing force. And you get out of injections. And we know medical insurance companies don't like to pay for the injectables. In the US, we pretend that obesity is entirely a matter of will and not a slippery slope. Like,
Hmm.
as you gain weight, you exercise less. As you exercise less, you gain weight. As you gain weight, you exercise less, right?
Yeah.
So these drugs can short circuit that, but only if you stay on them. If you get off them, you're in trouble. So bounce back is fast and furious. Without these drugs, the control study basically gained back 25 pounds in 6 months. In 6 months, they gained back
Wow.
25 pounds on average. And if you're on the drug, you gain back about 2 pounds, which is really a rounding error because it's not 10,000 patients, it's a couple hundred patients. So,
Okay. So
so
it's,
this
I have
this
to say,
idea of a once daily pill
yeah.
is very promising. Here's what investors miss that I'm going to tell you
Okay.
so that you know. The average dose that people take of Ozempic is about 2 milligrams a week. That's what they inject of Ozempic or Wegovy. It's the same drug, 2 milligrams a week. Novo can turn that into a pill. Novo Nordisk can turn that into a pill by adding it to vitamin A so it's absorbed into your gut instead of being an injectable. But they need 25 milligrams a day. Okay?
Whoa.
So that's 175 milligrams instead of 2 milligrams.
Whoa. And just because it's
So
taken a different route, is that the whole?
because your digestive system digests things,
Yeah.
including proteins, so you can use them as building blocks.
I
So
see.
if you eat a protein drug, it's ridiculously inefficient. Like the cheat code is added to vitamin A,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a great cheat code. It destroys your manufacturability by a factor of 100. And economically, the opportunity cost is Novo Nordisk could either sell 100 prescriptions of Ozempic or one prescription of their new Wegovy pill.
Right.
They're giving up 99 patients worth of revenue. And we think the entire enterprise is at a loss. Like they can say that their marginal costs are less if they just transfer over completed drug,
Yeah.
but you can only play accounting tricks for so long. Novo Nordisk has already made profit warnings for next quarter, even though they're launching their own weight loss pill.
Mm.
Like it's because they lose 100 patients worth of revenue for every prescription that they fulfill. It's an insane strategy. And the only reason that Novo's doing it at all is because they're so afraid of what Lilly has. So what Lilly has is a chemical pill that you can make for a dollar and sell for $20.
I think it's important to sort of explain to people, Dave, what the difference is between a small
Now I'm
molecule drug and a protein drug, because this is a big point. I think people need to hear this so they understand it. So Novo Nordisk has a pill. It's gone through clinical trials. It's approved, correct? The pill is approved recently.
Yeah, it started
Novo
sales 2
Nordisk.
weeks ago.
Lilly is on its way to approval, but it hasn't gotten approval yet. But there's a difference between these two pills, and I think I think you should concentrate on that and explain that just one more time so people hear it. It's the key is the difference between a small molecule drug and a protein drug, and how you make these drugs really is the key to understanding that value that Lilly brings.
Yeah, I mean, we can simplify it almost easier. Every pill is a chemical and every injectable is a protein, except Novo Nordisk's new Wegovy pill, where they're trying to attach the protein to vitamin A, but it gets digested.
okay.
Like in a world
That's
without
clear.
Eli Lilly's pill, it might make medical sense if you could charge 100 times more for it, but you can't charge 100 times more
Yeah.
for it. So it doesn't
Again, I
make
think that's the
economic sense.
key. Yeah, so I looked it up before we spoke today because I thought this was such an important point. I was hoping you were going to touch on it, but I think on average, to make a small molecule drug is 10 times to 12 times cheaper than it is to manufacture and make a protein drug. So that's some serious cost savings, right? That means they could sell their pill for cheaper than Novo and just cut them out of the picture, basically.
There we go. That makes the sort of science plus economic connection for me as an investor. Now,
Right, but
I have a clearer.
that's straight up. But when you take the protein drug and you need 100 times more than it, it's
Yeah,
1,000 to 1 ratio.
right,
Every time Novo sells any of its pills, it's losing money. And anytime
right.
Lilly sells one of its pills, it's making money. Like Lilly's not putting out profit warnings. They're building 5 factories to
Oh
make this
man.
pill. They're building one factory to optimize the process, and then they're going to step and repeat it with 4 factories. Until 2020, the largest factories ever made for in biotech was a $500 million factory. That's as big as they could possibly ever get. Okay. Lilly's spending $50 billion on factories.
Okay. Yeah,
So they're going to make the
they're going to
reason
get a
they're putting
return.
$50 billion into factories
Yeah,
is they'll make $100 billion a year on these pills.
right. Yeah, massive return on investment. Okay, this is making sense to me now. And the you're going to tell me that um, whatever this process is that Lilly has to make this just called a chemical pill, like
Exactly.
nobody else is doing this. That's the monopoly. Nobody else is doing this.
Yeah, Roche is closest. They're 5 years behind. And that means that they have all the risks and all the expense of running large scale clinical trials.
Okay.
See, unlike genetically perfect, genetically identical laboratory mice, every person is different. So when you test a drug in 100 people, you can find a 1 in 100 side effect. When you test it in 10,000 people, you find much less common side effects. But a 10,000 person cohort prepares you to sell to 10 million or 100 million people. You kind of know what side effects might be out there. But it's really risky. If there's enough people that have a side effect, you can't sell the drug. So Roche has all its risks in front of it, and it's 5 years behind. Lilly's finished all its trials. I saw data in Vienna. I saw data in Chicago, and my scientist went off to New Orleans and saw some more data. That's it. That's the entire pivotal data for Lilly's pill.
Right.
We went in person to see if there were side effects, and there's nothing that you see in the pill that you don't see in the injections. And it's no more severe than what you see in the injections. So once you've started weight loss pills, you can stay on the same GLP path and your body's already adapted to the changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's basically no more side effects. So this is a once a day pill that in established users of injectables, after you have a higher dose to lose weight, when you move this to the maintenance therapy, this will be as big as statins, except they're not generics. Lilly hasn't priced it yet because it isn't fully FDA approved,
Mm-hmm.
but all the approval trials met they hit their efficacy and they hit their safety. So they're gonna get approved.
Okay. So this is worth massive amounts of money. And we talked before we hit the record button. I think we said Lilly has a 620 odd $1 billion market cap.
They're at 926 billion, which is
926.
so it's essentially a $1 trillion company,
Yeah.
right?
So how do you
But
can this move the needle on a $1 trillion company is the question, right? For an investor.
I mean, I can even get you to bend on this one. So imagine that they sell $100 billion worth of the pill's technical name is orforglipron.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a brand name yet because it's not FDA approved. Lilly knows what the brand name is, but they're not telling anyone.
Mm-hmm.
They're printing off, buy Orfor now, whatever it is, right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the brand name is, but orforglipron, if they sell 100 billion of it at 90% margin, that drops to bottom line.
Yeah.
So if they start making 50 billion in free cash a year, How much would you pay for 50 billion in free cash a year?
Yeah. All right.
It's more than price to earnings.
You're saying 50
It's more
billion
than price to
more,
earnings.
right?
Yeah.
So if the market prices it is 20 times, that's, you're doubling. You're
Yeah.
doubling the market cap.
It
That's the answer. There's a
yeah,
double.
yeah.
There's a potential double here. That's the answer.
Right. And that kind of matches what I said. I was on Porter stage last year, and I called this a safe triple when it was at 600 billion,
Hmm.
which also predicts that this drug will take Lilly to be a $2 trillion firm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it'll get there until the drug launches and they can make enough of it,
Hmm.
but there will be massive demand for this drug. And until the 4 factories are up and running, they'll
Hmm.
be supply constrained, but not demand constrained.
That's funny. I remember
So you
you.
got time. You
Yeah.
got time to buy Eli Lilly. I can't buy it
Yeah.
because I cover it. You can buy it.
Right. Okay. Um, I remember you. It's funny because I remember when Ozempic, when the injectables were at a similar stage, and you were telling me about the demand, and they've got to build factories, and they've got to make more, and here we are again with a whole brand new, extremely wide moat product. It sounds like. Um,
Yeah, there's a fun aside. Novo Nordisk wanted to compete with Eli Lilly
mhm.
in pill world. So they know that if you get high on marijuana, you get the munchies. And there's this particular brain receptor that where cannabis lands, and it's the cannabinoid receptor. Okay. Well, Novo Nordisk spent $1 billion to buy a drug that would hit the cannabinoid receptor, but turn it off instead of on. The idea was that it gave you the unmunchies,
Mm,
and then you would lose weight,
mm,
which kind of worked in mice,
okay.
but in people gets you high. Like, of course it gets you high. It's cannabis.
Yeah.
So they spent $1 billion to prove that they could develop a pill that would get you high.
Right. It would get you high and
Smart.
still not have the munchies. I mean, that's got some value, doesn't it?
No, because it's narcosis. Like,
Yeah.
it's hallucinogenic,
Right.
and even in early trials, people couldn't find their car in the parking lot, which is bad.
That is bad. But let me say,
That's considered a side
all right.
effect.
So we're getting into another area that I don't want to spend too much time on. I want to move on because you got two more of these.
Uh-huh.
But I've always had a slight philosophical issue with this. Just the idea that people are going to be on these drugs forever now, maybe, and rather than, certainly some substantial portion of the population of obese people could get rid of the weight and improve through exercise and diet. Like there's some willpower involved to some degree, isn't there? And I just wonder, a lifetime of being on a drug like that. It's an odd, take drugs and be healthy. It's a bit of an odd message. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm too
see, you
oriented.
are a special person in that your commute is from where you are sitting now to the books that are behind you.
Yes.
One of us on this call has to drive to work.
Uh,
And when that person drives to work, they are trapped in a car in traffic twice a day.
hmm,
So their exercise opportunities are limited. The way that we've built our culture where you commute to work,
mm-hmm,
which is true for at least 90% of us who are in the workforce still,
mm-hmm.
you you commute to go sit in a cubicle and then commute home,
Right.
right? So the opportunities in normal everyday life are actually quite limited. 120 years ago, 125 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
1900, the year 1900, 90% of the US population lived on frickin' farms.
Right.
They didn't have to invent exercise. They had to go milk Bessie.
Yeah.
And going to milk Bessie meant rounding Bessie up, pulling on her teats, filling up a wooden bucket, and then carrying the full wooden bucket back to the, ice box.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I hear you.
I think there's a better way to describe the benefits too, because I've thought about that a lot too, Dan.
Yeah.
I think, if you think about how the healthcare system is structured in the U.S., we all share health expenses as a group, right? So the healthier we can be as a group, the less expenses we potentially have. I'm sure there's studies out there that will indicate, there's an economic benefit to having healthier people over time. And I think this is a pill that, on its face, it might be used, as a glamour drug or something, but for people that actually need it, that can become healthier people in the long term, I think that saves society, gives society a benefit as well.
All right. Well, we wanted to spend plenty of time on that one because it's like the world's obsessed with it. But let's move on. You've got two more of these monopoly drugs that you want to talk about, Dave. So tell me about something I never think about and rarely even hear about, which is Madrigal's fatty liver treatment.
so thanks, Dan. Fatty liver disease is a consequence of obesity, but it's not a traditional fat bed in, layered under your skin.
Mhm.
It's actually fat being absorbed by your liver and having nowhere to go. So your liver adds more and more fat.
Mhm.
It adds so much fat that liver cells don't touch other liver cells. So it's not working as a filter. And the cells are slipping away from each other because
Mm.
there's a fat cell in between. So then they add connective tissue so your liver doesn't turn into a dropped jello pudding.
Mm.
So you not only lose liver filtration ability, but you change the nature of your liver.
Okay. So you change.
And
Wow. Okay.
you can get kidney dialysis. There's no liver dialysis. If your liver
Mm.
fails, you die. If you get a liver transplant, you live. That's rare. You got it from someone else, so you have to be on anti-rejection drugs for life.
Hmm.
It's a pretty traumatic surgery. It's wicked expensive. It's also dangerous. And because you're on anti-rejection drugs, which turn down your
Yeah.
immune system, any colds can kill you. It's not a good play, right?
Yeah.
So liver transplants are very rare and
Liver's not
pretty
a small
dangerous.
organ either, is it? I mean, it's like it's occupies quite a cavity, doesn't it?
It does. So the idea to cut fat and connective tissue that's come into your liver is has been promising. So in
Right.
2016, we saw like a feeding frenzy among biotechs to buy up drugs
Hmm.
that treat fatty liver disease.
Hmm.
6 in a row failed. The seventh one didn't really work, and the company kept pressing the FDA. It's like, look, nothing treats this. And the FDA is like, and your drug doesn't either.
Neither do you. Yeah.
And along came drug number 8, which is Madrigal's drug. And Madrigal's drug's actually a once a day pill for fatty liver disease.
Hmm.
You can use it alongside the weight loss drugs. You can even use it alongside the new weight loss pill from Lilly.
Mm.
So Madrigal's pill is called Resdifra. Madrigal is a tiny company. We followed it from phase 2 trials because their drug worked and we could see it. We stayed with this company through its phase 3 trials. Our copywriters enjoy marketing schemes. This drug, while we own it, went up 250% in one day.
Whoa.
250% in one day
Yeah.
because its phase 3's worked out.
Wow.
Since that time, Resdifra has become $1 billion drug from Madrigal. It's not backed by Pfizer or Bristol Myers. Just Madrigal's selling this once a day pill.
Hmm.
It's worth 330 million bucks last quarter.
Whoa.
It's already at 1.2 billion. By the end of 2026, it'll be a $2 billion drug because it's safe and it works and it's a once a day pill for fatty liver disease. And the alternative is that your liver fails and you die. So it's a highly promising compound.
Hmm.
There's one pill in development that can try and compete with it. The other pill, which is still in development, triggers weight gain. Do you know what people with fatty liver disease do not need?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess the
So
disease is so bad, maybe you'd go ahead with something like that, but that strikes me as a non-starter. As soon as you know that, you just don't want to spend another penny on it, right? I mean, it's um I just want to, sort of scope out the idea of competition. Um and that sounds like you're telling me that's it, basically.
yeah, John knows this as well. There's a protein drug
Mhm.
that might treat the worst off patients when you're at the moment where you need a liver transplant and you're waiting.
Mhm.
There's a protein that'll treat stage 4 patients. That protein is still about 2 years from the market. So even for stage 4 patients, there's literally nothing. It's a complete open field.
Okay.
Madrigal's the only player.
Okay.
Because these patients are accruing more fat in their liver, you can put them on weight loss drugs as well. But the once a day pill is an easy add on. And, you know, it's worth $1 billion standing still.
Yeah.
As it ramps, it'll just keep ramping.
Okay.
Yeah, another
So
note to your
Madrigal's an $11 billion firm, but it's already selling more than $1.1 billion worth of a pill
Yeah.
that costs pennies to make and sells for something like $35,000 a year.
Wow. John, you were
Yeah,
gonna.
so
Yeah.
it's a
I was just going to
1,000x
mention
markup.
I was just going to mention I think it's worth mentioning the competitive threat in this case too. It's also a potential drug with a black box warning, correct? You might want to explain that to people as well.
Yeah, I mean the other drug that triggers weight gain had to its trials had to stop for liver damage.
Uh,
So it restarted when when it when and if it succeeds through its phase 3 trials. If it gets approved, it'll get approved with a black box warning.
okay. So, for listeners and me, um, a black box warning is something that comes from the FDA that says, halt, or what exactly is it?
I mean, it sort of decimates sales because it warns doctors who would prescribe it that there's a side effect that's bloody nasty. So right now, patients in the trial for the rival drug, the rival pill,
Mm-hmm.
have to go in every 6 weeks for liver screening. Like that's just not practical, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay.
So Madrigal's going to have a lock, and we think that Madrigal and Lilly's pill will be paired in the future.
Mm.
And
Whoa. Yeah.
yeah, so if Lilly's pill could be worth $100 billion, Madrigal's pill could be worth $10 billion. It's currently worth $1 billion at an $11 billion firm. If it
Okay.
starts selling $10 billion worth of product,
Yeah.
Madrigal has massive legs.
All right. So huge upside there. That might be of the three, and let's get into the next one even just to make sure we cover it while we have time. Of the three, 10x is that the biggest upside?
It's it's a lot of upside.
Okay.
You
Do you want?
know, I've done this current newsletter for 10 years and we've had 3 10 baggers,
All
right?
right.
We've had 3 times that we've had
Yeah.
of the 100 stocks we picked,
Mm-hmm.
3 of them went up 10x
Nice. All right.
because we like to have less risk going in.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to pick, 10,000 penny stocks, I might get 7 that go up,
Right.
but I had to buy 10,000 penny stocks and get slaughtered all the time.
Yeah.
Like we only go into a position if we think there's a 10-to-1 reward to risk ratio.
Okay. Um, that sounds good to me. That's definitely speaking my language. But let's talk about this, and then maybe we can do a little summing up at the end here. Um, the next one that you want to talk about is from Rhythm Pharmaceuticals. Have to admit, I don't follow biotech and pharma because, I don't have the science gene or whatever, and I've never heard of Rhythm. So, what's the hunger switch pill?
Once upon a time, when we tried to figure out the genetics of weight loss, there appeared a fat yellow rat. In all these mice that seemed to be identical, one was yellow and really, really big.
Mm.
Okay. So what was wrong was that it wasn't getting melanin, which makes us tan, or it gives dark skin dark skin. So the fat yellow mouse had a melanin disorder. It turns out that in humans, there's four melanin receptors. The ones that matter for current purposes are one, which is the skin darkening one, and
Mhm.
four, which controls hunger. Okay. So if you can selectively hit four, you can control hunger.
That's interesting. That's a cool tidbit. I like knowing that. That's going to make me sound smart at parties.
Exactly. So rhythm developed based on studies from University of Berkeley, a
Mhm.
protein drug to treat genetic obesity. These are kids that are like 8 that weigh 200 pounds at
Oof.
8.
Oh, that's sad.
Right. So, you know, the pain 1 to 10 scale, how do you feel?
Oh
1 to
yeah.
10, your pain,
Yep.
right?
Answered it many times.
Yep. There's a equivalent 1 to 10 self-reported hunger scale.
Mm.
Okay. These kids run at about a 9.
Mm.
So after they eat, they're hungry.
Oof. Yeah.
Right. Their parents literally have to padlock their refrigerators. Like standard treatment is to padlock your refrigerator.
Okay. There may be an opportunity there.
Right. So Rhythm developed a drug to hit MC4R to control the hunger switch. It's FDA approved, but it's a once daily injectable. So as a once daily injectable, it can't compete
Mhm.
with once weekly injectables.
Mhm.
And it's more precise. It's actually a different switch. It's hunger itself. It's not raise your base heart rate, and um it's not the same kind of winter switch where you're ready for winter like
Mhm.
GLP-1. It's a
Mhm.
completely different path. Okay?
Okay.
But in their IPO, in their prospectus when Rhythm went out, they've tested this in general obesity, which is me and whoever's next to me in the donut shop, right? Not these genetically nailed kids.
Yeah.
And it works. It works in general obesity because it triggers your hunger switch and it turns it off and you're not hungry.
What question am I about to ask? Doesn't it compete with GLP-1 right away as soon as you tell me that?
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yes, but
yes,
okay.
but
Okay.
it's a different way. So technically it could be additive, right?
Okay, I see.
But it's a monopoly breaker.
Mhm.
Like if Lilly has a monopoly on this pill and nobody else has another pill that seems to work,
Mhm.
then we get to Rhythm story. So LG Chemistry, which is LG, the ginormous Korean conglomerate, something like 15% of the Korean economy. Samsung is like 25% of the Korean economy,
Right.
South Korea. And then another 15% of the South Korean economy is LG.
Right.
Okay. It's a massive firm. Well, their chemistry department developed an MC4 drug, but they didn't know what to do with it. They've never run human clinical trials. They don't know what sort of side effects can be triggered. They don't know anything about it. Right. So they partnered with Rhythm to make a once a day pill that does the same thing as the once a day injection. So they moved to a chemical pill. It's already in phase 2 trials. And this is the most potent challenge to the GLP-1 $100 billion industry. And if the pill works through phase 3, it's a $50 billion product. $50 billion product. Right now, Rhythm's a $7 billion company.
Nice.
So
Huge upside.
currently, there's something like 60 GLP-1 drugs in development from everyone. And there's 2 drugs in the world for MC4R. And Rhythm owns the first one, and Rhythm owns the second one.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I want to own all of these. I want to own like Lily sounds great, and a doubling of the market cap, but I really just want to own Madrigal and Rhythm like yesterday.
You know, Madrigal doesn't have risk because it already has a $1 billion product that's FDA approved. Rhythm, although it treats these genetic diseases,
Hmm.
um, it kind of rose because investors don't study biotech. Like Rhythm's market cap rose because investors said, wait, that's a weight loss company. And it's like, it's completely different. It's completely different
Right.
because it's a once a day injectable for genetic obesity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this pill is completely a game changer. If this pill works, I think that Roche or Bristol Myers or Novartis will figure it out eventually
Sure.
and probably buy Rhythm up.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say it will go up 100x because Rhythm has no marketing department. They have no direct to television advertising budget,
Right. I see.
right? They're going to get a big pharma partner or they'll get taken out one way or another because it's too lucrative if it works. It's just too big a prize. If your neighbor is growing gold
Yeah.
and silver
Yeah.
and building a sidewalk with gold and silver coins and they go on vacation, yeah, you're going to go next door.
Yep.
Like it's literally too valuable. So
Yeah.
it's an intriguing technology and it has one competitor. And the competitor is so ridiculous, Dan, I have to tell you about it.
All right.
It's a company called Palatin. Okay. Remember how I said the melanin 1 receptor is bad and the melanin 4 receptor is good?
Mm.
They have a melanin 1 receptor drug. It's approved for female suppressed female sexual desire. It's FDA approved. You can only take it up to 8 days a month. Or you get permanent skin darkening. Permanent skin darkening.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
it has
so
a black
weird.
box label that says
That's so
don't
weird.
take more than 8 times a month. Okay. So Palatin said, although we have an MC1R drug, we kind of along the way hit MC4 as well. So let's develop it as a weight loss drug. They ran one short trial. They used it once daily. Is once daily more than 8 times a month?
Sounds like 30 times a month to me.
So they're triggering permanent, irreversible skin darkening in patients. And it's like, it's not going to work. The FDA is not going to let you do this.
No.
So this small company is claiming like to have a weight loss drug, and it doesn't take much objective reasoning to go like, that is never going to work.
Okay.
So right now, 60 drugs are being developed to hit GLP-1. There's one injectable that Rhythm owns for MC4
Mm-hmm.
and one pill that Rhythm owns for MC4. And the pill data looks pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like the phase 2 data looks pretty good. But they still have to run phase 3 trials. They're still a few years out.
Right. I was going to say, when you say if it works, where are we? So you're saying 3 years. We'll know if it works.
In 3 years, they'll be able to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
As we see the current data come out, we'll know whether or not it works. But until you run larger scale safety trials and repeat the positive trial, you can't win approval to put a drug in people.
Okay. So you know if it works, some substantial time before you can sell it. When do you is there a when it works date for you, or you're just is it a wait and see how long it takes?
They're in phase 2, Dave? Where are they right now?
They're in phase 2.
Okay.
So their first target is essentially people who've been in car accidents or had brain surgery for some reason or another and are missing the part that would control their hunger.
Okay.
So that's about an 80,000 person cohort globally. It's not very common, but you can sell the drug for a lot of money, right? So they're chasing that first.
Okay.
But if it works in them, it will work in everybody else. They're still humans, right?
Yeah.
So we'll get good data in 2026 to confirm whether or not it works.
I see.
But it won't become an obesity pill to rival Lilly.
Gotcha.
probably till 2029.
Yeah, they'd have to run a phase 3 trial, right? They wouldn't go
Yeah.
for, yeah. That's a
Okay,
big
and so
big
then the
hurdle.
next question becomes, all right, we get through phase 2, we're in 2026, and it goes out to this, group of folks from, who had accidents, and as you've told me, they're human. If it works in them, works in everybody else. But then they have to do a third trial. I mean, the market has to get wind. The market has to know what you just told me, right? The market has to know that. So from there, it becomes, what's the risk in the trial? What's the risk in that final trial?
This drug hits MC4 100 times more than it hits MC1.
Mm-hmm.
So the known side effect is that white folk get tan if they're taking it.
Okay.
But as you get into more and more people, we don't really know what unusual and rare side effects could occur. That's the
Okay.
risk, right? The other risk is we have a very good handle on how much Lily's pill helps you. And if this pill doesn't help as much, then it will have a competitive disadvantage, right?
I see. Okay.
But at some point, Lily's pill is going to go generic because its patent will expire. And this company's patent has 5 more years of life, where it would be the only branded product that works for weight loss. So
I see. And patents are what,
I
20 years?
20 years from when you start your phase 1 trial.
Oh, wow.
Before you put it in people, you have to own rights to it because the FDA establishes that you have to have the ability to manufacture this drug, or why are you bothering, and why are we bothering letting you put it in people?
I see.
So 10 years of trial development and then 10 years of sale, and then you're pretty much done.
Got it. Okay. So it sounds like there's clearly more risk here, and but the rewards are pretty big. Rewards are massive. Like when you take all three of these stocks together, aren't they? I mean, it's just like hundreds and hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars, really. This is a massive trend.
Yeah, and
Like,
you know what? Dave gave a great way to diversify within that trend too, right? He's given
yeah,
you a big name, he's given you a mid cap name, and he's given you sort of your classic biotech binary outcome
hmm
type of pick. I
right.
like
I
that.
see that. I see that now, and you're right. It's
Yeah, it's the yeah. I mean, I don't pick my own stocks. I like that my readers get to take advantage of what I find
mhm,
because they're the ones who pay me to go around the world, to go to Vienna to watch Eli Lilly present its data in front of thousands of scientists
mhm,
and me. It's a
mhm,
really cool. John's gone on these trips with me as well.
mhm,
It's really cool to see science sort of happening, or at least medicine, emerging medicine.
mhm.
It's fun to track this, and I like doing it for my readers. So I can't really take advantage of this. And this is my December issue,
Mhm.
and what we covered is the safest, biggest company in the world is safer and bigger than anyone knows, because Novo Nordisk is making a lot of noise about a drug that's going to put Novo Nordisk out of business. I don't know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're afraid of Eli Lilly, but Eli Lilly's the smart play. And then Madrigal is $1 billion drug from a company you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Is ridiculous. Like an average investor who finds Madrigal will be
Mhm.
very happy with the results, right?
Yeah.
And for people who have high risk tolerance, to find out that there's another way. For, if you can get your head around this idea, Dan, a contrarian, I know this might be a foreign word to you.
Yeah, maybe not.
Rhythm's like a really cool contrary play.
Yeah.
It's the place that nobody's looking, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Very, very cool. Um, it makes, but as John said, it makes me want to own, and what you just said too. It makes me want to own all three. It makes, it's like a little mini, biotech pharma portfolio, complete with like a massive cap major, and like John said, massive cap, mid cap, and then a binary outcome, smaller cap. It's kind of perfect. And it just, before, when I was saying that the potential here is massive, it's already massive. But I guess what I mean is, you know, this has like changing the several aspects of the global economy kind of potential. One of the guys who I talked to a few years ago, they were already talking about how United Airlines was saying, we're going to save X amount of dollars on jet fuel in a few years. We need to pencil that in. And, you know, and whatever else happens when people lose a lot of weight and you don't have to transport that weight, you know, automobiles, whatever, all kinds of transportation modes is just like one effect. What people eat and how they go, when they go out to eat, and what the food trends in the restaurant industry look like from here on out is another thing. I mean, this seems like one of the biggest, um, you know, biotech or pharma or whatever trends of my lifetime. Like, what was bigger? What's as big as this before this? I honestly don't know.
So
Maybe.
here's why these three pills are different.
Okay.
Okay. Everyone is stopping taking the injectables
Right.
because they're injectables. They're
Yep.
stopping taking them.
Yeah.
So all these, fuel will change, airports will change, cars will change. You can put less air in your tires. None of that shit's true because people roll into these drugs, they roll off them, they gain the weight back, and they're back where they started.
Right.
So, what kind of maintenance therapy can you give people so that they actually improve? Right?
Mm-hmm.
A once a day pill, a once a day pill that saves their liver, which had been damaged because of obesity and then recovers. And maybe a different approach to hunger. Like, that's it, right? Like,
Right.
these three, like everything we've seen from GLP-1s,
Mm-hmm.
that's the opening act. This is the real deal. These pills are the real deal. No one sees them coming.
Wow. No one sees it coming in terms of like the effect on market cap and market value, which is amazing. I mean, to find, I have to say, your focus on 10-to-1 risk reward potential is, um, it's enviable. We don't, what I do in my newsletters, we don't always find that kind of stuff. You know, we're often good with 3-to-1 or so. um, and I know a lot of folks, a lot of traders and investors, they're like, hey, 3-to-1 risk reward, and I'm excited. But 10-to-1 is huge. So thank you for
I mean,
bringing it to our
that's our
attention.
goal.
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying
sure.
we
No,
would
but
get there.
it's more than it's your goal, but it's your orientation. And it's credible though, right? Because you've found some already and you've proven your ability to find them. And we don't expect you to find them every 10 minutes, but the point is the potential is there and you're capable of finding it. It's exciting. That alone is extremely exciting. Like somebody tells me, I want to find 100 baggers. I'm like, yeah, you and everybody else, as long as you can wait 40 years for them, you're in business. But a credible path to these 10-to-1 risk reward setups is very exciting to me. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you said that Mr. Market already knows this, but the truth is, like our colleague who's still alive but is no longer working with us, named Steve, uh, used to buy the biotech index,
Hmm.
right? Because everything's in there and it's all perfectly priced. It's like that's not remotely true,
Yeah.
right? In the biotech index, there's some biotechs that we know will fail, like Novo's new pill
Hmm.
or Inventiva's pill that requires liver screening and makes you gain weight,
Hmm.
or Palantin's pill that makes you permanently get skin darkening.
Right.
They're all in the biotech index. we're sorting out the good from the bad.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, right?
Yep. You counseled me away. I was talking about the biotech index, 2 or 3 podcasts ago when you were talking to me and you counseled me against that. I'm very grateful for it. Anytime somebody can just, you know, give me a nice razor so that I don't have to worry about something and think about it again, I'm grateful. So, and you did that for me with the Biotech Index. So we're at this is the time for our final question, right? We've covered these 3 amazing stocks here, Lilly, Madrigal, and Rhythm, and summed them up nicely and given people a reason to own all 3 of them. So it's time for our final question, which is the same for every guest, no matter what the topic, even if it's a non-financial topic. So, and it's just for our listeners' benefit. If you could give them one takeaway, one thought that you'd like to deliver to them today, what would that one takeaway be that you'd like them to have from this?
Lilly's pill is a hidden monopoly. Novo Nordisk is buying ads to say that their Wegovy pill is available, but Novo Nordisk cannot afford to make its own drug. Lilly's pill is the promise that we've all been waiting for.
Wow. Okay, that's powerful. Lilly's pill is the promise of these weight loss drugs that we've all been waiting for, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Pfizer keeps trying to buy weight loss drugs, and Pfizer's CEO constantly goes, we're going to split a $100 billion market with Lilly. And then their drug fails. And then they go like, we bought a new drug, and we're going to use this drug and split a $100 billion market with Lilly. And then that drug failed. And now they bought a third drug and said, we're going to split a $100 billion drug with Lilly. It's like, no, you're not, Pfizer, because your drugs keep failing. Right. The drug that's going to come out, that's going to do everything, is Lilly's. You know it. We know it. Everyone knows it.
All right. Well, thanks for being here, Dave, and thanks for helping me out, John. I'm not a scientist.
Absolutely.
I need a guy like John around if I'm going to talk to a guy like Dave.
Yeah. Hopefully I was helpful.
All right, man. Thank you both for being here. I have learned, and I know our listeners have learned a great deal, and we will hopefully talk to both of you again real soon.
Cool. Thanks. Absolutely. Thanks, John. Thanks, Dan.
See you guys.
That was a lot of fun. I always have fun talking with Dave Lashmet, and thank goodness I was smart enough to bring John Engel along to help explain it all for me. That was a great education, a mini education on weight loss drugs. And we got not 1, not 2, but 3 ticker symbols. We got Eli Lilly, LLY, massive opportunity there, and a nice big cap, safer company, right? Then we got Madrigal with 10-to-1 potential, Dave told us. Amazing. And then the riskier pick was Rhythm, which is RYTM. That's the ticker symbol for that. So we got 3 great ways to play weight loss drugs. It's a massive trend. Over time, it's going to be worth trillions and trillions of dollars. I really do think it's going to change the global economy. And these 3 drugs, you heard Dave. Dave said, especially with what Lilly's doing, this is finally the real promise of weight loss drugs delivered in a once daily pill. And it's a technology that no one else has. The competition is behind, or they have a product that is just not going to get it done. So that's super exciting. Plus these other 2 opportunities to do, slightly different things in weight loss with huge potential returns there. Really exciting. And it's exciting to me, and I hope to you, because honestly, how much do you know about biotech? How much do you know about pharma? You heard Dave talk, don't buy the biotech index. Get a guy like Dave on your team, read Stansberry Venture Technology and use those picks, right? They're much more intelligently chosen than just throwing money at the biotech index. And I recommend index funds in my Farish Report newsletters. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying in this particular case, you can definitely, absolutely do a lot better, right? So we got Lilly, Madrigal, and Rhythm. Really exciting stuff. Okay. So one more time, Lilly, ticker symbol LLY, Madrigal, ticker symbol MDGL, and Rhythm, ticker symbol RYTM. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we really, really, truly did. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and sign up for our free e-letter.
Opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the contributor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Stansberry Research, its parent company, or affiliates.